Alright, Hell in a Cell opened with the 2 out of 3 falls Ziggler Cesaro match. I have yet to see the E put out a poor 2 out of 3 falls. The one the Usos did with the Wyatts was fantastic. 3 Stages of Hell was a 2 out of 3 falls match. So when they did a while back with Daniel Bryan and Sheamus, awesome. This one, no exception. You put your 2 workhorses in there and you kind of go, you two. Go out there, put on an awesome match. There's a spot where Cesaro is pretty much like dead weight carrying Ziggler up the turnbuckle, the second turnbuckle. Still holding Ziggler. Muscles him into just a pure raw power superplex. Cesaro, of course, loses this match. 2 falls. 2-0. First fall comes after the Cesaro swing. Ziggler's able to do this really nice counter. Nice, smooth 1, 2, 3. Afterwards, it looks like you see Cesaro trying to go for the neutralizer. Ziggler works his way out. Does almost like a... It's a weird looking arm break. Think of like the stunner, but just with the arm instead of the head and neck area. So you see him then you've seen Cesaro go down and hold his arm. Ironically, he did this move earlier where he missed an Undertaker style elbow off the middle rope, where he shuffled across the middle rope. He injured his elbow in that move. I think the commentators forgot about it because he would go back to it every now and then. Then you saw him go for that, like an arm break, go back, hold his arm, super kick and a zigzag, 1, 2, 3. Great match. Really, really set the tone. I was like, man, who do you put out after that match? Nikki and Brie. I have to say, this is the best match I have seen that stars only Bellas. Brie, she's got some nice moves. She tried to go for a yes lock that just looked horrible. I think they just both had really bad positioning. Nikki hits the rack attack, wasn't enough. Nikki hits another rack attack and is able to get the victory. Their match was decent. Then now we have another 30 more days of this storyline going on. Not a bad match, but for the amount of time and screen time they put on this on Raw, this match should have been inside a Hell in a Cell. It should have been awesome. This is a huge revenge story, and it felt like it kind of fell flat. Usos and the Dusts. Good match. These 2 teams put on great matches. Which makes me think, had they not broken up the Wyatts, the Dusts and the Wyatts had chemistry. Wyatts and Usos, amazing chemistry. So you have 2 sets of teams that have great chemistry when working together. Why would you not keep the Wyatts together and make these guys freaking triple threat? That way then you could have matches between the Usos and Wyatts, Wyatts and the Dusts, Wyatts, then you also do Dust and Usos. You can have these 3 tag teams just kind of do this nice interplay back and forth, and then have them do a really great sort of match like this. Technically you could do a 2 out of 3 falls match. You could have all 3 teams get 1, go into a sudden death. Crowd would eat that sort of stuff up. It would be awesome. But again, Dust, great match. They have really great chemistry. But you have brothers versus twins, great match. Then we had our first Hell in a Cell match, Orton Cena. Yeah, I know, they were mid-card. Good match. I do find it odd that the commentators were talking, Orton kicks out 2 AAs. And they're like, oh, Cena's taking, Orton's can take everything Cena can dish out. 2 attitudes, and he's still standing. And I was thinking, wait a minute. Cena's taking 2 RKOs. You're going to push both of them at the exact same time? oh, he gets that 2 RKOs, this, that, and the other thing. And they had some pretty decent spots. The ending spot, Cena's at the table, and I was thinking, oh man, if we see an RKO off the top rope but John Cena through a table, that's a phenomenal end spot. But we don't get it. Instead, John Cena rises above hate and logic and good booking and everything else, and it's like a second or top rope AA putting Orton through a table. They get the 1, 2, 3. So we get to see Cena Lesnar again. So then after the crowd gets let down severely with that, we get to see Miz and Sheamus. Let's be honest, when it comes to Miz versus Sheamus, the main focus of the match is Mizdow. Mizdow is so awesome. He is... Ironically, I think that if he turns face, he needs to pair up with somebody else. I mean, the Mizdow was just blowing my mind with how good he actually is in this role, and he's stupid entertaining. Stupid entertaining. Stupid entertaining. It's just amazing. And, you know, it's Sheamus on top of the chickens. Big Show, Rusev. Rusev actually puts on a pretty decent match for a guy his size. He worked Big Show's leg. He did lots of great mat work and grappling. And I was like, man, he's really working the leg. This is actually a decent match. And I was like, man, I wonder how Rusev would have been against someone like Samoa Joe, Daniel Bryan, Kurt Angle, CM Punk. People who kind of could do a little bit of the brawling, but as well as technical wrestling. Even someone like, would have been an awesome feud for this guy. And I was like, man, there'd be some pretty solid matches with this guy. Henry comes down to lend moral support to Big Show, and it was just like, big kick to the head, big kick to the head, big kick to the head. All right, Show's down. World's biggest accolade. Show passes out. I was like, all right, well, since he attacked Henry and Show, are we going to see a triple threat match where it's going to be like, all right, so Henry and Show versus Rusev. Then you can have that heel turn that we want to see where Mark Henry turns heel and then feuds with Big Show. And I was like, man, you know, for the match and people going in with very large positions, actually a pretty decent match. AJ and Paige. This is the old shoe syndrome. These two know each other very well. And this has pretty much been who's held the title for Prince's entire year. Their match was pretty good. They threw in some nice little spots here, and I did like Paige on the outside slamming AJ to the barricade. It was nice. It was vicious. It showed a real level of tenacity and aggression. Good. Good. Show that you can have women who can have a more vicious streak, that can wrestle, and can look good doing it. That's what people actually want when they think of women's wrestling. They want actual wrestling. After a bizarre spot on the barricade on the outside, Alicia Fox rolls Paige in. Paige eats a Black Widow, taps out, flips out on Alicia Fox. It's like, alright, okay. So the three people feuding for the title are all kind of crazy people? Okay. Okay, I guess they don't know how to write women. And now we get to our main event. Ambrose Rollins. I'm surprised they gave him the main event spot. Ambrose comes down wearing what looks like some of your old posters in for a comic convention with this kendo stick in it. Goes right to the top of the cage. Rollins comes down and he's like, I ain't got out there. He's in Stooges 2.0 up there. Mercury and Noble. And now our match begins. Well, technically they didn't in the ring, but I digress. They do a spot where they both fall off the side of the cage, Rollins and Ambrose, through the announce tables. As they're on stretchers, Ambrose gets himself up, throws Rollins into the ring, and now we begin. Great use of chair shots. There are chair shots in the Orton Cena match where they all felt kind of safe. And this one, you could tell that he was like, you stabbed me in the back, and just, whoa! I mean, you feel just the hate, the vitriol. I'm like, man, this is a good match. Great back and forth. Great use of tables. You know, Rollins to the table on the outside, braced between the apron and the actual cage itself. Goes for a suplex. Ambrose blocks it, knocks him out of the table, hits one of his elbows from like the top rope to put him through the table. Nice. Kane kind of gets involved, shoots a fire extinguisher in Ambrose's face. You then see a running power bomb with Rollins running with Ambrose to throw him to another table set up against the cage. I was like, man, this is just good stuff. Finish. Ambrose eats a curb stop and kicks out. Rollins goes for a curb stop using the Money in the Bank briefcase. Misses. Ambrose nails Rollins with the briefcase. 1-2 kick out. You know he's got something special. Throw some cinder blocks into the ring. Going for a curb stomp. Screen goes black. And I'm like, I lose signal? Well, live is still up in the corner. Hear all this weird jibber jabber. And I'm like, Bray Wyatt things come back right now? And in the middle of the ring there's a lantern. Then Bray Wyatt attacks Dean Ambrose. Lance Owens gets a 1-2-3. Seth Rollins escapes. Guess Seth Rollins will now go on to have a feud with Randy Orton. John Cena will feud with Brock Lesnar. And we're going to see easily, by far, what will be the best series of promos we will ever see. Dean Ambrose is going to take on Bray Wyatt. That is going to be the star-making feud. The fact they ended Hell in a Cell with not one, not two, but 3 young talents in that ring. That shows some guts. You know, they didn't end safe. They didn't end with, Orton Cena. Instead, they ended with Rollins Ambrose, which is the far superior story than the 27 championships that Orton and Cena have. This is a defining moment of their feud and their history, notwithstanding the defining moment that was TLC last year when they feuded over to become the first ever undisputed WWE World Heavyweight Champion. So it ended with those 3 was impressive. And I was like, man, would have loved to have seen Ambrose get the victory, but this totally means they actually can extend that like a payoff a little farther on down the line. And I was like, ooh, Bray Wyatt come back after kind of doing a lot of nothing for the better part of the year. Beyond the Daniel Bryan feud and the Cena feud, which he lost, they really had to figure out what to do with him. Even though he's so over with the crowd, even though he interrupts his match, the crowd is still white hot for him. Which is a thing of beauty. You cannot be on air and really haven't done anything for almost 2 months. Come back, interrupt an amazing main event, and have the crowd still, phones with assistive light on, people chanting the whole world in his hands, and he's still got the universe right here. He's got it. So I'm actually looking forward to Raw. It'll be interesting to see what they're going to do with the new and improved Bray Wyatt.